Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, which e-commerce stock is the best one to buy right now? Is it Amazon or is it Shopify? Now, I've recently went through both of these companies' earnings results and taken a deeper dive into what happened in their most recent quarters. So I'm going to start by a review of both Amazon's and Shopify's earnings results, and then I'm going to compare the two on valuation, and then I will answer which one is the best stock to buy. So let's begin. Starting with Amazon's revenue increased by 9% in the most recent quarter to a whopping $127 billion in revenue in just one quarter. Operating income also jumped to 4.8 billion, up from 3.7 billion in the same quarter the prior year. The concerning thing about Amazon is that its most profitable segment, AWS, experienced a decline. Operating income was 5.1 billion in the segment compared to 6.5 billion in the same quarter the prior year. Now compare that with Shopify, whose revenue increased by 25% to just 1.5 billion. Shopify is only a fraction of the size of Amazon, as you can see from its revenue. Operating loss worsened to 193 million, up from 98 million in the same quarter the prior year. The big jump in operating losses came as a result of Shopify's billion-dollar investment into logistics. Shopify had acquired a company for $2 billion and also spent $1 billion of its own ramping up its logistics network. It wanted to get into the business of shipping and handling instead of just being a platform that helps merchants set up an online business. That proved to be extremely expensive and unpopular with investors. So, Shopify at this quarter announced that it's selling its logistics business to Flexport in exchange for all stock. So Shopify will receive 13% equity in Flexport in exchange for giving Flexport their logistics business. In conjunction with this, Shopify is shedding an extra 20% of its workforce in its hopes to improve profitability. Now, after announcing those results, Shopify's stock price jumped significantly, just proving how unpopular the logistics business is. And if you want to see why the logistics business is unpopular, look no further than Amazon, where you look at the North America and international segments. This is where Amazon handles the e-commerce business, excluding its AWS. The North America segment generated 900 million in operating income in the most recent quarter. This was compared to a 1.6 billion dollar operating loss in the same quarter the prior year. This segment for Amazon operates at very small profit margins or losses in some quarters. The international segment, which includes e-commerce sales outside of North America, generated an operating loss of 1.2 billion dollars. Now, save for a few quarters during the pandemic when sales were surging, this international segment, which includes Amazon's e-commerce shipping and handling, usually generates a loss in every single quarter. So if you compare Shopify with Amazon's e-commerce segment and you ask yourself, why would Shopify want to get in that business? Even at massive amounts of scale like Amazon, close to over $500 billion in annual sales, Amazon barely ekes out a profit in that segment. Why would you spend billions of dollars trying to get into that business? That's what investors were asking. That's why Shopify stock became unpopular over the last 12 to 18 months. But now that it decided to sell that division, Shopify stock price is popping. More investors are now interested in Shopify stock. Finally, let's compare these two stocks on valuation. Shopify is trading at a forward price to sales ratio of 9.77, while Amazon is trading at a forward price to sales of 1.924. The reason for the big difference in valuation is because Shopify has a higher potential profit margin in the long run compared to Amazon, which is never likely to generate very high profit margins because it's so heavily invested in shipping and handling and logistics, which is a low margin business. So for that reason, investors are willing to pay a higher price for Shopify stock, because if it continues growing at this scale, it could eventually reach profit margins at multiples the rate of Amazon's profit margins. But if I had to pick one of these two stocks to buy right now, I would pick Amazon. I would buy Amazon stock. Amazon is showing nice improvement in getting its costs under control. Sales are still growing. Meanwhile, Shopify is going through the transition of divesting the business. It still needs to get regulatory approval. It's still going through significant job cuts and realigning the business. And I might revisit Shopify in 1 or 2 quarters when it gets further along in this transition and readjustments of the business. All right, that's all I've got for this video. Amazon would be my favorite between these two right now. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.